What's going on, everybody? I know y'all see the title. Today, we are talking about how to get your vocals to sit perfectly in the mix. Let's do it. Okay, we got a hip hop song we doing today, and it's to a 2-track beat. Now, if you can do this with a 2-track beat, you can do it with the multi-tracks. These same principles are going to apply to that case as well. The first thing I want to talk about is your overall levels and balancing. So we got a few things to balance right here. We have a 2-track beat to balance. We have a lead vocal. We have some effects throws, and then we have our actual effects, which is just a delay and a couple reverbs. So the first thing, we're going to loop this first part of the verse, and we'll pull up this fader. This is the overall volume fader for this lead vocal. First thing you want to do before you add any compression, any EQ, is balance that lead vocal with the 2-track. I'm gonna mute these effects, and we're gonna turn this up and down. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create what I call the zone. So there's a range where the vocal for the genre and the vibe of the song feels and sounds right. Let's listen.
I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.56 and 223s up in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.56 and 223s up in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.56 and 223s up in it.
So to me, it's 0.5, but you can hear when you turn it up a little bit too much and you turn it down a little bit too much. Those are the extremities to where you're a little bit out of that range. You want to find those extremities first and then stay in that range for your level. I know if I go above here, that's too loud. If I go below here, that's too low. And also one thing to note is how if I have this at 0, you can still hear the lyrics, but it doesn't sound as confident. This is again genre specific and vibe specific. There may be a vibe where the vocals being a little low and a little tucked is the vibe, but in this case the vibe is for them to be a little more on top. All genres have their tendencies, but there's no rules. So that's the first part of this. The second part of this is volume automation. This is the most important part because this is how I can use automation to create some clarity and add to the emotion of the performance. I don't allow certain words to get lost. Your first inclination may be to add another compressor. I can't hear this word. No, we'll just turn it up a little bit. That's all we need to do. This is also where I can pay attention to the detail of a performance. I make sure the diction and the enunciation of the performance is there because there might be S's, T's, k, ch, p, those types of things in the vocal performance. And if I make sure they're dialed in right for the performance, now I don't have to rely on turning the tonal part of the word up super loud so people can understand it. They can use the p in context with the to know that he's saying a word that starts with a P. And I can give that impression of more energy or less energy by adjusting how the diction communicates to you. You know how we'll go through and we'll do tuning. We'll manually go in and melodize certain words that are a little bit off pitch, or we'll go through and we'll do timing. We'll make sure that the vocal is in the pocket perfectly. That's how I think of volume automation. When an artist is performing, maybe they don't nail that phrase or word volume-wise or delivery-wise right. And all I need to do is just go in and fine tune it with volume automation. You can compress first, and then after your compressors, then you go in and do the automation. But seriously, if you don't take anything away from this video, it's automation. Automation is the key to making sure your vocals are right in the mix perfectly the entire song. It takes a little bit of extra time, but that extra detailed step is a game changer. So in this case, I'm gonna use this where you say this a Diamondback. You see I've turned up the kind of transient part of this. If I have this turned down and I play it, we'll listen to that and then I'll bring it back and we'll hear the difference.
The weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.
Now with
The weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.
one more time.
The weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5. The weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 5.
You hear that this come out a little bit more. It sounds more confident. And now I don't have to turn this whole word up to right here so that people can hear it. I can just turn that up a little bit. And now we understand it and we feel the energy of it as well. I'll go through and do little things like that. You see, I did something similar here and here just to make sure the diction and that energy is coming off. And then I'll use a compressor to enhance that feeling. You see here on the end of these words, I'm just turning this up. Let's hear what that is.
3's up in it. Hey, I be going through this pain. 3's up in it. Hey, I be going through 3's up in it. Hey, 3's up in it. Hey.
Very subtle differences. You're gonna hear this often on this channel. It's a game of inches. And if that inch gets me the W, that inch gets me the W. You feel me? Okay, the next part is EQ. The first part of the EQ portion is your tonal balance. For this case,
Bitch, I'm in my bag.
I'm hearing a lot of that. So I'm first starting off with an SSL EQ, a little bit of compression. See, I'm turning down, not too much, but some 268. And I'm turning down 2.25 dB of 770. And then we got a little 212. We actually boosting 0.5. I'm just adjusting my tonal balance ever so slightly. That's what I'm starting with first.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga. The switch is 3D printed. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it.
And then we got the EQ-P1A. So this is the heavier handed EQ. I'm getting rid of a lot of that low end muffliness so that I can bring out a little more clarity and detail. But I'm not trying to take away the warmth and the character of his voice. I'm just trying to adjust the tonal balance a little bit so it's a little more present, a little more clear.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga. The switch is 3D printed. That pack might say runs, yeah, but.
And then I'm using this EQ as my detailing EQ. I'm turning down any other frequencies that are clouding the vocal that are not letting it be as detailed and focused. So we'll solo some of these frequencies.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want. Nigga, the switch is 3D printed. This a Diamondback, 5. They don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga. The switch is 3D printed. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it.
So now I've got this vocal in a much better place, tonally, to where when I'm listening to it, I'm not distracted by a lot of the muffly, funky sounding frequencies that are a little too loud in this vocal. Then we got a high pass as well. The longer you mix, the faster you'll be able to pick up on what frequency ranges do what in each vocal. Let's take a listen and solo each of these and listen to what we hear in each frequency range.
I'm in my bag. Nigga, the switch is 3D
Print that pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag. Switch is 3D print that pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it.
So as we scan through all of these frequency ranges, we can see around this area is where we get the most clarity. Now, interestingly enough, I'm cutting at this area. Maybe it was just a little bit too much. As we listened and we scanned through, we heard the most clarity right here in this frequency range around 1K. So sometimes maybe it's not that you need to turn the overall vocal up. Maybe you need to just find the frequency range in the vocal that gives you more presence, more clarity. Maybe it's an EQ thing and not a volume thing. So now let's talk about these parallels. This is another way to help your vocal sit on top of the mix. You can allow that lead vocal to be a little dynamic, but use your parallels for some consistency. In this case, it's a full-on parallel. I'm using saturation knob.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me.
BF76.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it.
SSL channel strip from Waves.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it.
Little EQ on here, and I'm adding that back in. It's not a whole lot, but let's A-B that.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga. The switch is 3D printed. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s.
Just that little addition makes the vocal feel more full range. I'm adding that in to give me that effect. A little more frequency consistency, but also level consistency as well. And now I have this other parallel. We have some lo-fi.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me.
Weak Child.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it.
Pro Q, separating this frequency range right here that I'm adding back.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it.
So let's A-B that.
Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag. They don't want to see me in it.
Now that gives me that low mid steadiness. I still want the fullness of his voice to come through, but this is a way for me to maybe take some of it out that was bothering me right here, but add in my controlled version of it that I like with a little bit of color and texture and character on it. And now I have the contour of this vocal that I like. Now when I bring the instrumental in, I may go back to adjusting my levels again to fine tune where I'm at overall in the mix and what I'm taking away. Another thing I want to note about the parallel compression is when you add that parallel compression in underneath that vocal, you've now created somewhat of a floor, whether it's a frequency wise addition that you've made or a full range. You've added a floor to that vocal, so as that vocal stays dynamic and goes up and down, it never goes below that floor that you've added. So that can help you, again, like your vocal is moving up here and then you add that parallel compression in and now there's that little floor and you let that vocal still be dynamic, but you added that little floor in right there so it doesn't dip too much below that. That that can again help you stay present in your mix. But one trick I like to do is I'll mute the lead vocal and I'll listen to the entire instrumental and I'll listen to where the pocket is in the music, and then that's where the vocal should appear. As soon as I unmute that lead vocal, it should appear right in that missing pocket, wherever that is in the music. If it's a multi-track, you can create the pocket, but if it's a 2-track, it might be a little bit on top of the beat, it might be a little bit next to the snare or the clap, wherever it is. If it doesn't, now you make a few adjustments and then you try it again until you get it right in that pocket. Let's try that.
3D print, that pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it. Pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556.
For me, it's a little bit on top, but kind of right next to that clap. Not too far on top, but it's right next to that clap. You know, that's where the vibe was for me. This is also something you can do the other way. I can mute the 2-track, and once I bring that back, if there are any frequencies that are clashing with the vocal or clouding the vocal, I can make a decision on whether I need to EQ the vocal some more or EQ the instrumental a little bit more. In this case, I came here and I turned down a little bit of 125, negative 0.3 dB, and there's a little bit of the dynamic EQ going on here, but very, very subtle. So I'll A/B that.
Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it. Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it.
Just giving me a little more space for a little clarity with that vocal. Those ranges were rubbing a little bit too much. But if you bring that beat back in and your vocal is being swallowed up, you know, maybe I need to make some changes to the instrumental, or maybe I need to just turn the instrumental down a little bit. It'll give you a better gauge on what you need to do next. Another thing you want to pay attention to is your effects. Are your effects clouding up the vocal and getting in the way? In this case, I'm using the SSL channel strip, so I'm rolling off some low end. I'm turning down some 260, turning down on a shelf. I don't know, maybe that's 285 is what it looks like. So I'm EQing this reverb right here, and I'm also EQing this reverb right here. Turn down some low end, turn down those low mids and high passing, making sure that low mid information is not clouding up my mix and my vocal performance. And then also the levels. You gotta play with and fine tune your levels. Again, the same way I use the zone on the lead vocal, you can use it for your effects. You can use it for anything. You find that zone where things are a little too loud or a little too low, and you fine tune within that range. So I'm doing that here. I'm also using a little bit of sidechain compression.
Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That
and then overall, both of these reverbs are going to this verb fader, and I'm EQing that a little bit as well. And we got a little dynamic EQ on 280 because again, this range, and especially the way this vocal came in, it was very low mid heavy. So I'm managing that in different places to make sure I'm not getting a buildup of that frequency range.
Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 2.
Just with that A/B, you can hear a difference. All these little subtle moves, they add up. It's a bunch of little things that add up to the grand picture. Another part is automating your effects. So I have these effects flows here. I especially want to talk about this one because this one is the main delay that I'm using throughout the song. And what I could have done is just put that directly on the vocal as a send and have it just going the whole time. But that's muddying up my mix potentially. Why do that when I can just have it go in and out when I need it? So on this, it's some EQ. I'm only wanting that frequency range, echo boy, some deverb on it, metaflanger on it. And again, SSL channel, I'm high passing and low passing again. These are the frequency ranges, the vibe that I'm looking for. And we're adding that in when we need it. So let's slow that vocal so we can really hear.
Bitch, I'm in my bag, they don't wanna see me in it. Fuck a semi-automatic, nigga, the switch is 3D print. That pack might say runs, yeah, but that is not the weed that's in it. This a Diamondback, 556 and 223s up in it. Hey, I be going through this pain alone. Got this shit up out the mud, I ain't take a loan. 223s through them windows, they vacated they home. I know it fuck with his mental when his baby mama play my song.
And this is very subtle, but it's not super important that people really hear these super loud, but it's a feel thing, it's a vibe thing to keep your head moving. You don't want to just hear the dry vocal playing the whole time. You want to hear a little ear candy. That's all it is. And what I love about this, you see how certain ones are a little louder than others. I can quickly just clip gain these things up or down and make them whatever volume I want. So if I clip gain that up a little bit, now it's a little louder. I can end this one off a little loud, whatever. You feel me? I can turn some of these down and tuck them more. So it gives me way more control much faster anyway. But that's another way to just create more space and not have too many things playing at the same time and clashing frequency-wise in your mix, because when you add a delay, you're adding another sound to the mix. There's only so much space from the floor to the ceiling in your mix. So I'm being strategic and mindful of what I'm adding. Okay, another thing that can help is mixing in mono. Hold on now. Hold on. Wait a second. I can hear y'all yelling in the comments already. Just hear me out. Mixing in mono really helps you to hear your levels vertically. And yeah, it's not perfect. You should maybe use one mono speaker, whatever, but it's fine. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for years and it's worked perfectly for me. You can hear your levels up and down. I think of it like a skyscraper. So you have everything on each level. It's literally like you could put things on top of each other. You hear your entire song from top to bottom and from front to back. So it really helps me focus and lock in on those pockets. Once I get towards the end of the mix, I'm taking this off and I'm fine tuning just a little bit for stereo and the headphones and all that kind of stuff. But getting levels in mono would really help. I'm gonna play this mix in mono as well so we can hear what it sounds like.
The Diamondback 556 and 223s up in it. Hey, I be going through this pain alone. Got this shit up out the mud, I ain't take alone. 223s through them windows, they vacated they home. I know it fuck with his mental when his baby mama play my song.
Run that back and listen for those levels straight up and down. You can hear how that lead vocals right here, that clap and snare and the hi-hats and all that stuff is a little bit above it. And then the low end is right there. And then the music is like right here, but it's slightly behind it. You know, like you can really see, and you can see that much easier. It's so much easier for me to do this in mono, and I'm not distracted by the stereo information and the width. I'm just thinking about that simple part of mixing, the balancing, which is extremely important. Now, the last piece of this is listening on different sources, especially small speakers. So I have my little Bluetooth speaker right here that I use. Let me go full screen for y'all for this real quick. So I have my little Bluetooth speaker right here that I use to just make sure that everything is audible that's supposed to be audible, and it feels like music through this little Bluetooth speaker. You can also use your phone, you can use your laptop speaker, your TV speaker, whatever small speakers you have. Listen to your mix through those and pay attention to the vocal level. Pay attention to what's popping out and what's getting lost. If it's doing that on purpose, that's totally fine. Just be purposeful. Doing that is that 5, 2, whatever, that little bit of percent that can help you sonically separate yourself. And lastly, you gotta practice. I can't dismiss the fact that you gotta listen to a lot of songs and you gotta mix a lot of songs. Now, these concepts apply to multi-tracks as well. I personally think it's a lot easier to sit your vocals in a mix with the multi-track, because now you can mix the instrumental around the vocal and you can balance around the vocal as well. With a 2-track, you're quite limited, but you're still gonna have to practice, and I recommend just practice volume balancing. Just go around, practice volume balancing in your mix and see how you can emotionally change things with just volume, and that'll help a whole lot. But that's the video. I really hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what you think, but I cannot end this video without shouting out the YouTube members. We are still at 6 members. Will we be able to get to 10 by the end of the year? Let's find out on the next episode. All right, so we got Entre Music, Levon Trilla, Mixed by Jay, Loop Layers, True Art Pro Studio, and we got a new one, Dominique Jackson. Welcome to the fam. Again, thank y'all so much for joining the YouTube membership and helping keep this channel alive so I can drop these videos for y'all every single week. Y'all don't know how much it warms my heart. And as y'all can see, the videos are getting better and better every week. It's because of these guys. So thank them in the comments. Tell them thank you. To anybody who supported this channel, who's sharing it with their friends, I appreciate y'all so much. And we just getting started. So if you're liking the vibe, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week.